FIDE Master John Curtis, thank you for joining me, and today I'm going to show you a closed Sicilian game, and the magician, that's me, the FIDE Master John Curtis, I'm black, and playing the white pieces today is Cajun111, and he's rated 2,131 and he is from Finland. So let's get into the game straight away. He opens up with e4. Okay, it's a book move. c5. So we've got the Sicilian. Plays knight to c3. This is the closed Sicilian, the traditional line. And I play knight to c6, which is a book move. And he replies with the old book move, bishop b5. He wants to develop quickly and castle. So I'll put a knight there, and that's the correct reply. As you can see, the little book sign. And now it's his move. And he plays knight to f3. Now the engine says it's excellent, but it's only the second best move. It's not the best move. He should retreat his bishop. So I took his bishop, right? Okay, so I took his bishop off. And my best move was actually to hit his bishop with the knight. And so I played basically second or third best move. He recaptured, and I played a6. Well, at least I got the star move, didn't I? That's the best move. Okay, he played knight to c3. And now what do we do here? Well, we've got to get developed. So we thought, well, great. Well, the whole idea was to play an early b5. And so we play it. And the idea is that at some critical stage, we're hoping to be able to play b4 here, right? And with our bishop on here and maybe win a pawn. Well, that's what we might do against beginners, but this guy is still 21-31 rating and no fool. He takes the center. So he's playing very strong attacking chess. And I took the pawn because I can't afford for the pawn to move forwards and for him to gain space. So when he recaptured with the queen, that's the best move, star move. So he's playing a really high level of chess, and he's got the advantage. If you look at that bar on the side of the board, Cajun111 from Finland has got the advantage. So I thought, well, I better play pawn there. Now, the reason why I play pawn there is because I don't want this knight coming in here, right? I don't like that. That looks deadly. And if I play bishop here too early, he might be able to play a4, right? a4. And I'm worried about him breaking up my pawn structure on the queen side because I'd be dead then because I can't push the pawn because he'd take it off with the queen, right? But however, if I play e6, which is the move I played, now if he plays a4, well, I can play b4 and kick his knight away, okay? And then it's a different game altogether. So he played bishop to f4. What a strong move. He's now controlling the d6 square and now putting the question to me as to, okay, what are you going to do about that? Well, I played bishop to b7, right? Now, this is tricky, but I think he really should play bishop to d6. It'd be really double-edged after I play bishop takes bishop and knight to f6. Position would be very, very difficult. Okay, so let's see what he does. Well, he just plays rook d1. Engine says he should castle, complete the move, but I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have liked to castle there with this semi-open c-file down there. So I can understand his thoughts about castling, and I can understand why he would have played rook to d1. Anyway, so I played knight to f6. It's the best move. Now, as you can see from the cover of our video today on YouTube, somewhere along the line, someone makes a goofy move. And there's Goofy laying in the middle of the board, all splayed out with the flowers on his chest and his arms all open wide. Well, I'm sure Cajun probably felt just like Goofy later on. But we'll see what happens and see how the game progresses and see. We'll check the ideas out because It was a hard-fought game, this one. So we played that move. And bishop e7. All right. Okay. Now he wants the castle, and he does. He completes his development. That's a wise choice. It's the best move, too, according to the engine. Anyway, I just castled. I thought, oh, okay, I'll castle. I'm not worried, because, of course, if he pushes the pawn, I can always play knight forwards, and he can't play bishop d6, because I just take it off and capture the e-pawn. And he played rook to e1. That's the best move. He's got all his pieces. He's doing all the, what we call the thematic moves. Now, one of the biggest considerations when you look at this position is that you can see that white's got a black squared bishop, right? And black has got a white squared bishop. Now, so it's sort of like a battle of the squares is looming. Right, so there's a battle for control looming over the white squares and the black squares. Now, also, when we look at this position, we can see that white's got a queenside majority. He's got a three pawns to 2 pawns on the queen side, but because the pawns are not placed well and the knight's sort of a bit backward, you see the knight's in front of the pawn, and that leaves this pawn backward here. It could be a possible target, so it's not easy for him to proceed to take advantage of his majority on the queen side. So I think he's hoping for this stage, with his big powerful build-up of his rook and queen and rook here, all these pieces focused on the centre, I think he's hoping for me to break through and maybe bring all his pieces into play. Anyway, I looked for a logical move here and I played d5. Apparently it's not the best move. The best move is rook c8. Now, d5 is given a plus 0.21 by the engine, and it's probably the second best move. Anyway, but my idea was to take the white squares. So I took the pawn off and he recaptured with the knight. And then we'll have a look at what he should have done here. Engine says he should play bishop to e5. Now you're going to see why bishop e5 was such an important move later on. But we'll see what takes place anyway. It could have led to a lot of similar situations, but we'll see. He played knight takes knight. I played bishop takes. That's right. I thought I'll keep the queens on for now. I couldn't see any way he could remove my bishop. So I've taken with the star move, and now the position's apparently a little bit better for black according to the engine. Now, I really do think that he may have thought the position was good for him, but I'm not sure what he thought because he didn't tell me. But he would have been a bit surprised if he looked at the engine saying that this is better for black. Right? Anyway, the reason being is that my bishop is clearly focused on his king side, and his bishop is not focused on my king side. So we've won the battle of the ideas. That's what we've basically done. And now I play bishop. I had to make a choice here as to what move to play. So I chose bishop to f6. The engine says, oh, no, Johnny, you've got to play queen to d7. It's a subtle move, the old queen to d7. And the idea of queen to d7 is this. The engine's saying, play queen here, and then if he moves his knight forward, you just shift your queen over here, and you're on the g-pawn, right? Shifty old computer, hey? Anyway, I didn't do that. I just played bishop there, and I thought, well, come on. You've got to push those pawns. You're going to play c3 or something. Anyway, he should have played c3. See, I knew, yeah, or I sensed it. Yeah, I thought c3 was the best move. But he played knight there. And then when I looked at this position, I thought to myself, I have to come up with a plan. Okay, and I thought, well, hold on. My bishop's better than his bishop. right? So I thought, well, great. Why shouldn't I give him my bishop and just have a battle of the bishops, right? In the middle game, a middle game battle of the bishops. Because I knew that it's very, very almost impossible for me to lose because admittedly his bishop comes down here, but I've got this f6 that I could see occurring. And he took it off and I went bang, and I said, hello, what are you going to do there, buddy? Because I knew that these pawns can't move my bishop from here, and it's protected by a pawn. So I knew, and I thought, well, hold on, that makes his bishop look a bit silly. Okay, and it also gives me the chance of playing queen here and queen there and a checkmate or something like that. But I thought it's going to take a lot more harder work than that to win, because I know he'll be working away at me, trying to cause me trouble. Anyway, so he played bishop c3. Okay, the engine said he should have went back the other way, and it would have been very, very hard to mount an attack on him if he'd gone back the other way. Oh, well, I played queen to c8, and the engine says I should play h6. Isn't that funny, eh? So the engine suggests a pawn move like that, a little pawn move. Anyway, I made my little queen move, and the difference is very, very slight. The h6 move was minus 0.15 and minus 0.12 was my queen to c8. So I played the second best move, right? Okay, so what are we doing now? He played rook to d4. Now this is a really dangerous move, It's a star move. The reason being is it's a rook lift, what we call the rook lift, and it's also preparing to transfer the rook's power over to the king's side. Now, I don't like that if he could combine it with this bishop, so I have to be on alert. So what did I play? Well, I played rook to f2. I'm preempting the fact that he might come down and try to attack the g-pawn with, say, rook to g4 and queen to g3. So that's the idea. He plays rook to h4 and he gets a star move. Now, what would he be threatening here? Well, one would think that he just wants to play queen here and gets me to push a pawn or something of that nature so he can weaken my king just ever so slightly. You make a few pawn moves here on the black side and suddenly white will have an attack because after all there's 3 and 5 is 8 and 9, 17 points, 9, 8, 17, that's right, in 9, 8, 17 points attacking my king. And at the moment, we have 5 points protecting it. So we've got to get some more pieces over there to protect the 5, maybe 6 with the base pawn. The base pawn's doing a job. Okay. You know, I played queen there because I saw the move bishop takes g2. And I thought, that's interesting. That idea could come into the game at some stage. Now, I did want to play e5. The engine's suggesting I should play e5. But I thought, no, I'll just play quietly. So I played queen to c6. And engine says it's an excellent move. e5 was better. So he played queen to h3. So it's a dual-purpose move, what we call a dual-purpose move. It has 2 functionalities. 1, the queen protects the g-pawn, and 2, the queen and castle are attacking the h-pawn. Okay, so what did I do? Well, I finally played h6. The engine says, don't do that. That's not the best. But I did it anyway. Anyway, engine says g6 was best, but there wasn't too much difference. He played rook to g4. And he should have played queen to g3. Okay? So it was here that I played this move, e5. And that cuts his bishop out completely now. Now that I've got this pawn structure here, right? Oh no, my pawn. You can see the, oh no, my pawn, my h-pawn, right? So he's got queen takes pawn, right? Okay. Let's see what he does. There's a pawn there for the taking. So he took it off. So what did I do? Well, I took his G-pawn. Now, he wouldn't have seen that at all. But this is where we get into this game where I mentioned earlier, it's a battle of the bishops. The bishops are battling, and the black squared bishop is better than the white squared bishop. So for this capture, even though the rook's defending it, I get a star move. And I'll tell you why. If the rook takes the bishop, we simply take the rook with check. Yes, give up the queen. After king takes, pawn takes, queen wins. We have the clear exchange up and 5 pawns against 5. Okay? But he's no fool. He saw that one. So what did he do? What did he do? Well, he played rook to e3. Yes. So he's powering up. You know what he's after, don't you? He's after rook here, right? Doubling up on my pawn, right? Now here I had to show my mettle, right? I had to find a move that shows my mettle. Now, what move would you play here? Right? Given the fact that the other castle's coming over, that would be 5, and 5 is 10, and 10 is 10 and 9, 19 points coming towards a king that's only defended by 5. What would you do? Well, I'll tell you what I did. Did you see the move? It's bishop here. Star move. The whole idea is this bishop move cuts the rook off from coming over there and assisting the other rook and the queen. It cuts the rook off. Now, he can't take the bishop because queen takes rook, would threaten the rook with check, and his queen's on, he'd have to retreat. And then after rook here, it'd be like a checkmating attack with my queen on f3. So, he's got real problems. So what did he do? Well, he played rook to g3, threatening my bishop. So now what do I do? What follow-up move would you play in a position like this? That's correct. Seal the castles in with the e5 move. So we've still got the good bishop against the bad bishop, because this bishop is biting on granite. Yes, it's biting on granite because this can't take this because it's protected by too many pieces. The queen's coming across and the rook's defending it too. Okay, but this bishop and pawn are discombobulating those 2 castles. Right, so he played queen here, queen to g6. So queen to g6. So it's just a safety move. He's a bit frightened that at some stage there I might attack his rook, and his queen would be on. So he's got to be careful. After all, in this position here, queen here would be a great move because it would threaten checkmating attack, right? And it would also threaten queen takes rook check, wins his queen. So queen here is a double threat, right? So he must answer the double threat. So what does he do? He plays queen there, okay? So now I have to come up with another move. And I'm thinking, well, what do I do here? And I thought, well, aha, I'll get my pieces working. That was my plan. Apparently queen to d2 is better, just threatening a checkmate down the back. But I'm happy. Rook here is a nice move and threatens a lovely check down the back too. Let's see what he did. Well, he should have played rook to h3, but he went back. Okay. Oh, rook to h3 is not a bad move either, is it? But that move gives me time to make a good move. And so I played rook to d4. At this stage, I only had 1:13. He had 1:31. So let's have a look at this move here. This rook to h3. It looks a strong move. He played rook there. Now, had he played rook to h3, let's have a look at the position. Position would have been classified as equal. That's right, as an equal position. I don't know how it's just equal, but it is. It's just on equal. I would have to definitely make a bit of a run for it. I'd have to make a run for it. But we could manage to survive somehow. Right, and now let's have a look. He played rook there. I played rook to d4. Now I want to stop him playing rook to h3. So he played it. And that's the Goofy move. That's the picture we've got of Goofy laid out on the board. Can you see the winning move here? Can you see the winning moves? Do you notice that in this position, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of the 10 pieces that white has are all on white squares. Devastating, eh? Anyway, the winning move is obviously a rook checks, which causes a lot of trouble to his queen. And after that move, I believe that he resigned. The game could have continued. Rook to g5, queen takes g5 check, f takes g5, rook to g3, and g4, sealing in the castle forever. Rook to e3, and rook to d7, threatening a check on the back. h3, trying to open himself up, and that would have been just a terrible mess. He would have just been losing all over the board. For instance, in this position, if it was black to move, black could play queen takes bishop. And if rook takes, you could just play check and king here and checkmate. There we go. That's just to show you what could be played. Anyway, he made, for all intents and purposes, a big Goofy move, but he was under immense pressure with the bad bishop. And that's the lesson today. It's the good bishop versus the bad bishop and how to spot your potential in middle games. Okay? Thank you very much for coming in and watching the video. And thank you to my opponent, Cajun111 from Finland, rated 2,131, who played the closed Sicilian. To my delight. I'll catch you next time in my next video. Don't forget, thumbs up the video if you haven't before. Please subscribe for future notifications of videos. It's free to subscribe to YouTube. Okay? And with that, I'm going to end my stream.